Alrighty, let's get ready to go to those secret stairs. Not so secret stairs. I guess before the internet, they were secret. But now you can find them on Apple Maps, Google Maps, and probably a lot of literary print. But I'm going to go out today, brave this weather. It's perfect out, actually. It's been about 90. And today it's about 80, so I am just loving it. There are some of those blowers around, those blowers that suck. The gas-powered air blowers. Try to get through that without an allergy attack. And then you can walk with me on those secret stairs. Because, what's better than being alone and not drinking, but being with a friend and not drinking. And I can't be with you right now, and you can't be with me right now, but at least we can be together virtually and share our experience, strength, and hope so that we can help each other through this thing called life, because it's hard. Pardon me if I go through an allergy attack. We will brave it together. I got my taser, I got my water, I got my mic and my phone. Let's go. It's so beautiful outside today. It's 80 degrees instead of 90. This is my neighborhood, and these are my secret stairs. And I am ready to conquer those and tell you a few of my secrets from back in those drinking days. Because I figure if we can't be drinking buddies, we might as well be sober story sisters and brothers and sisters. Not busy today. Most people are at work. Instead, I'm trying to heal. So, 2015. I was drinking too much back then. I wasn't a mom yet. Working full-time as a nanny. Married to my husband, writer. Married for about a year. We were both getting certified to foster adopt because we weren't getting pregnant, so we decided to adopt. And I was making space in my life. And my drinking was also getting out of control because I just needed something. I needed to get my mind off of myself, and that's why parenthood was attractive to me. And so I put a lot of energy into my Mary Poppins costume that year. Such a cute costume. And I drank to excess at a Hollywood writers' party at some ramshackle mansion in Hancock Park. Drank too much. The last sip I remember was Jaeger. You guys know Jaeger. F you, Jaeger. Jaeger's the forgetter. Amnesia liquor. Liquor, I hardly knew her. I love that joke. Anyway, I woke that night in the morning. My husband had told me that I had peed in the closet. And yeah, if I went in the closet, there was a puddle of pee in the carpet. I felt very embarrassed. And I also felt like, wow, something's gotta give. Within a few months, we had said yes to that green light on phone calls for foster adoption. And our son came to us in February of 2016. So then, of course, I filled that drinking hole for a while with the responsibilities of motherhood. We are much more than mothers. We are capable of so much more. So I was not feeling fulfilled. And so I drank. And I drank and I drank and I drank. I remember one time I went out in West Hollywood, drinking after work, drinking at a bar, getting in my car to drive, but I was so wasted that I never actually turned on my car. Just fell asleep there behind the wheel with my Ray-Bans jabbing into my nose. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a big welt on my nose, wondering what happened. And I pieced it all together later. Yeah, thank God I didn't drive. And it took like 4 weeks for that thing to heal because I was drinking too much back then. And when you're drinking too much, you're not healing right. I was sick all the time back then. And it's nice to share these drinking stories with people who understand what that's like and who are trying to be on the other side of it at least. Hope you guys are trying to at least abstain from alcohol today, because alcohol abstinence awareness is my motivation for life. There's no reason I should be alive today. There's some sort of higher power, and I don't believe in God. Atheist here, but I believe in energy, goodness, wellness, and love, honesty, vulnerability, and stairs. Look at this. I feel accomplished when I do stuff like this. Tell you another secret. I used to be a topless dancer. Yeah, of course I was. My father touched me until the age of 7. And of course I would end up on the pole. You wouldn't believe what my father said to me at about age 11, same year my suicidal thoughts began.
And just when you're feeling most vulnerable, Mother Nature shows you her poetry, a beautiful dead monarch butterfly flapping in the wind, like a wave from the grave, for my beloved mother, a mother who never had a chance, but I do, and I proceed.
So this is how I ended up on the pole. Driving down 8 Mile in Detroit in the 90s. I was about 11 years old. First time I was ever suicidal was when I was 11. So that's when that started, same year. We're driving, and I guess we drive past the strip club because my dad points it out and he says, "You see that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He says, "You don't want to know what goes on in there." And I look at him like, okay. And right then I was like, what the heck goes on in there, you guys? What goes on in there? I didn't have internet to look this stuff up. I had Encyclopedia Britannicas from like 1964. Okay, I had no idea to really know what was in there. So he piqued my interest. And when I look back on it, I realized that when my father was chastising me for my short shorts in the 90-degree summer heat when I was 14, it was because he was aroused by me and he didn't know what to do with those feelings. And that helps me transcend into the forgiveness category because, I just have to look at my abusive father as some guy who probably was abused. My father was 23 when he had me. He was an idiot. He was probably horny all the time. And that's where the forgiveness comes in. I had to grow up and realize that people are fallible, and he was too young. And he came from really trash parents himself. Southern Baptist trash parents. Sorry for the camera work, guys. My forgiveness is easily shed upon my father. But that's saying that now. I had to write letters years and years ago to address this stuff with my dad. I confronted him. I wrote him letters. I spoke them to him, and then I left them with him. He was high at that time. He was tripping on heroin because he was nodding out. He didn't really hear me. I made this whole special trip back to Michigan from LA just to do this in my therapeutic process. I think it was like 2013. He was nodding out. He apologized for the abuse. But when he woke up the next day, he saw the note and he called me up. He was like, "What are you talking about with this note?" And I was like, "You apologize." He said, "What?" He didn't remember a thing of it because he was nodding out. He was on opiates. I don't even think it was heroin. I think it was pills back then. Yeah. Actually, this was like 2008, so it was definitely pills back then. Right when the bubble burst, all that opium was like riding high for everyone over there in the Midwest. You hear the crunchy leaves? It's peaceful out here. These secret stairs are great. Thank you for listening to my secrets on the secret stairs. Anyway, so I ended up on the pole, because my father made it seem intriguing. And I come from abuse. So that's where we end up. You don't see any girls at the topless bar who had healthy upbringings. That's just not how it goes. So I was acting out the only empowered thing I knew, which was to sell myself. And I did some stuff that I'm not going to say. I did not respect my body, and I allowed money to fuel my decision making because I was drinking all the time. And my father taught me that my physical sexuality was my greatest gift to men. Yeah. So it's amazing that I'm alive today. I saw a lot of girls OD, saw a lot of girls get into those hard drugs, you know, the heroin, the opiates. Thank God I never got there. I'm grateful I'm alive. I'm grateful I'm alive. I'm just glad to be alive today. I had a best friend named Brandy. She was named after the liquor Brandy because her parents were alcoholics. Her dad was in a convalescent home in his 30s. And no surprise, Brandy died in her 20s. Yeah, she was hanging out with Kid Rock. Kid Rock was big back then. This was 2006 or 7. You disassociate the dates, you know, sometimes you remember, sometimes you don't. It's on the calendar or it's not. Like, I'm not always ready for the triggers of bringing up the people who have died to celebrate their life or their passing. You know, Robin Williams, that one really sticks with me. I think about him every year on August 11th, the day of his passing. And who knows why things happen, but brains get sick. I was in alcohol psychosis at one point, talking to myself in the mirror, arguing with myself. And it's because I just could not get a handle on the drink. And now I'm sitting here saying these meditations that other people call prayers to get through the day, trying to feed my spiritual garden and remember the ones who came before me. My friend Brandy, she used to hang out with Kid Rock in Detroit. Actually, he's not from Detroit. He's from like Romulus, which is a lake community. He's not OG. He comes from money. Little twat. She would hang out with him, and there were a bunch of girls who were hooked on pills, and he would feed them with pills, and prostitution was happening, and drug addiction was happening. Anyway, Brandy was found wrapped in something in the trunk of her car, and she's dead. She overdosed, and someone stuffed her in there. So another one bites the dust, and I have like a bunch of stories like this from people that I worked with or hung around with in Detroit and Los Angeles who are statistics, and I'm just grateful that I am not that today. Religion and alcoholism is an interesting intersection. When my father stopped his drinking and opiate abuse when I was born, he leaned into religion too hard and became overly religious, Bible thumping in this ridiculous manner, and very sexist and racist at the same time, not practicing anything he was preaching. And I find that happens a lot with mental illness, alcoholism, extreme religion. So I just want you guys to look out for that in your sobriety. You can seek spirituality and you can seek religion if that's what you need, but be careful not to turn anything into an extreme, because we tend to do that as alcoholics. We tend to catastrophize, grandiorize, hyperbolize, and make everything more extreme than it needs to be. And that's often stemming from our traumatic past. We all come from one level of trauma or another. One is not worse than the other. They're all relevant. It's all perspective. So if we can't be drinking buddies, let's be sober stories buddies together. Secret stairs buddies. I wonder what drinking secrets you want to let out of the bag so you feel a little less weighted down. It's a beautiful day here. I'm glad you could share it with me. My camera work leaves much to be desired, I know. The mistakes that we make are opportunities for us to grow and learn. No scientist ever didn't fail. The only thing we fail at is the things we don't try. and blah, 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 right? All the cliches, all the idioms, all the sayings, they're true. Just being present, because today's a gift, right? One tip for when you're going through your day and you're feeling like someone is getting upset, whether it's your close family member or your child, partner, employee, customer, we tend to misread each other and see each other's words and actions and body language through our own veil, our own view of reality. And so when I feel like someone's getting upset, I always say back to them now, because my therapist taught me this. I say, what I think I heard you say is, what I think I heard you say is, because I find, though it works for my toddler to give him the language that is, I see you're upset and how can I help you? I can't really do that with my partner. They get kind of annoyed by that statement, like I see you're upset. And now I understand that. So now I say, what I think I heard you say is, and it's a nice neutral thing to mirror back your perception of what that person is trying to communicate to you. And this is the key to communication. Okay, you guys, usually we're on similar pages. We're just miscommunicating because we're seeing things through our own veil of dysfunction and maladaptive behaviors. So the acceptance of that is acknowledging the clarity. We get back to the basics, like, let me make sure I heard you right before I react in an emotional manner internally. Well, we're pausing to do that now instead of that reactionary alcoholic behavior where we just react. In the past, I would drink because I was lonely. I would drink because I was shameful. I would drink because I was bored. I would drink because I was happy. I would drink because I was in pain and wanted to feel nothing. I would drink because I just wanted to feel different. But those are not good reasons, because alcohol is poison, and poisoning my body is a stupid choice. So I don't do that anymore. I'm making a different choice. Now, it's not always easy. My mouth waters sometimes when I see a cold beer on a hot day. But I find my cognitive behavioral therapy, like just replacing that with something good for me, helps me out a lot. Going on my walks, talking to you guys, connecting with people who understand. It's not always easy. It's not always perfect. This audio sucks. This camera's shaky. But I'm here for you guys. And I want you guys to share a few secrets with me. It's part of step 5, keeping it alive. It matters to be honest and forefront of fault. I like that. It's a mouthful. I can make sex jokes here and there. And I recently made the mistake of looking at my analytics. Most of you guys are men. Well, hello. That's okay, and I've come to terms with that. At least I'm not doing OnlyFans, right? At least we're doing this vanilla parasocial relationship where you can just look at me because I'm easier to talk to and listen to than a 95-year-old Vietnam vet, right? Well, I'm sending love to you guys, whoever you are, and ladies, and non-binary folks. Ooh, my guns look good in this light, huh? It's hard to hold the camera and walk, but it's good for the guns. It's a beautiful neighborhood, huh? Loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. It wasn't easy for me to forgive my father for the abuses that were inflicted upon me, but it was easy for me to forgive him when I finally saw him as a human being, when I took him off that parental pedestal and I put him in the category of fallible human. And it was much easier as I got older. My father was 23 when he had me, and I didn't really start digging into the abuse until I was 2006. I was 25 when I really started digging in. I was already 2 years older, 3 years older than him when he had me, when I started digging into the abuse. And so it's interesting that it took so long. But forgiveness is a process, and it's a choice that we make for ourselves as the victim of something, because we realize that perspective and relevance are wholly important. When I stepped back and I looked at the big picture of who my father was and where he came from his Southern Baptist parents to the oppression, to the untreated alcohol and drug addiction that turned into an excessive Southern Baptist religion obsession, I could see how at 23, when he was given this little baby girl, he didn't know what to do with her. He didn't know what to do with these natural physical feelings that he was having that he didn't know how to morally manage, probably because he comes from a home with poor boundaries. And so I'm not forgiving his behavior, I'm forgiving the fallible human. Do you understand? That behavior is unforgivable, but I'm forgiving the fallible human so that I can let go of my resentment and my hatred and my pain. Because I would drink, and every time I would drink, that the thing that would ruminate the most was the pain of not being loved as a child and the pain of the violation of being assaulted in an intimate way in an adult manner from my father. That resentment and that pain and that confusion, that's what would always come up whenever I would drink to excess. Just a couple drinks or a little bit, I get like feeling like happy, right? But just when I get over the edge, and I don't know when I'm over the edge until I'm already over the edge and it's too late, and I start crying and going into my writing and just be solitary in my apartment, having a functionally alcoholic life, doing my work, getting paid, being there for my family in the ways that I can, but drinking to excess and crying about it all the time. And so when I looked at my resentments, a lot of it was my father. And even before my drinking got out of control, I was already trying to handle this resentment with my father. And still, it took so many years. I started that resentment handling in 2006. And until 2021 was I able to stop drinking. And in that process of forgiveness, I wrote him a letter. I read it to him. I also burned that letter. He apologized under the influence of opiates, and then he retracted it the next day when he read the letter that I left behind. And so I feel as though I never got really that resolve from him, but that's okay. Today I feel okay with it. I'm at peace. I've forgiven my fallible father. And I just want to read to you guys what the definition is of forgive. Forgiveness is the act of forgiving, to forgive. And forgive means literally stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, flaw, or mistake. That's what forgive means. Just stop feeling the resentment for the mistake. You just stop it. Why? Because you choose. You choose to say, well, this dude, if I saw my father at 23, me as a 44-year-old woman looking at him for the first time, knowing who my father is, I can't expect much. So he did his best. He didn't try to hurt me. He was flawed. And so I let go of the anger, resentment, hatred, pain. And it's a process. It will take time. And therein lies your fourth step of resentments. You're part of it in the solution, as well as your fifth step, where you're listing the things that you've done wrong that you want to own up to. I drank and drive way too often. I used to put vodka in my kombucha bottle and color it with juice so that it would look like kombucha, because I thought that 0.06% of alcohol in kombucha would make up for that 45% proof of whatever liquor I'd put in there. But the thing is, the normies didn't notice. And as a functional alcoholic, I got away with it for a really long time. And if anybody noticed, they should have said something. And if you notice anyone in your life who's drinking, or you're smelling alcohol in their breath, or they're lying to you and they're not sharing things, I want you to confront them in a gentle manner. Ask them how they're feeling and tell them that you're concerned and you're there for them. Don't accuse. People who are struggling with alcohol use disorder are having a hard time. And my name is Stephanie. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a dirty drunkard alcoholic that's reformed now because of 12 steps, fellowship. Here you guys are with me. This is what I drink these days when I'm feeling saucy. I haven't drank much yet because I'm speaking on camera and I don't want to burp a lot, you know. But I had a really good walk. Thank you for walking with me and talking about the secrets, some of the lies. You know, we have to clean out our closet, like Eminem said. I grew up on 8 Mile in Detroit. I grew up on 9 Mile in Detroit, and I worked at the strip club on 8 Mile. Tycoons for 1 year. My one naked year. I wrote a memoir about it that I'll never publish, and I can't find it. It's on some thumb drive in my office. The truth is, when I wrote it down and got it all out of my mind, I put it there, and it made space for growth, happiness, room, sleep, rest, calm, enlightenment. So if you have anything that's weighing on you, even stuff that happened to you that hurt you but is part of you and you want to own it and acknowledge it and not lose it, put it somewhere else. Just do a video, do a vlog, do a diary, put it on a thumb drive, label it, and put it somewhere. And it gets it out of your mind so that you can kind of move on. I don't know what you guys have been involved with. Who knows? You might be an accomplice to murder. I have no idea. But I do know that forgiveness is possible. It's all about intention, reform, compassion, remorse, change, amends, love, fellowship. No matter how no matter how far I've fallen, I know there's only 12 steps to the top. So, with that said, forgive someone today. Forgive yourself today for that mistake, and don't hurt yourself because you made a mistake. That's an old story. Write a new story. I'm going to go heat up my leftover salmon bowl. It's good. Some sweet potatoes and kale. You know, I eat like a Californian out here in California. It's actually just the same price to buy a pre-made perfect meal than it is to get all the ingredients and make it myself. Even with growing things in the garden, which I have none right now, but I tried and I failed. The raccoons, they eat my veggies and my fruits, but my palm trees and all the other stuff, the succulents, they're okay right now. Anyways, that's a long other story. I got too many tabs open in my mind. I'm going to go check out another podcast online and unwind over lunch. I hope you guys are doing wonderful today. No drinking. Keep smiling. Namaste.